Hello, I am Nathan Gollop, and this is my flash talk on around 7 minutes. Ideation. I really like portraits, and I've drawn quite a few of them, but I never could really figure out how to make them more than just that. I knew I wanted my capstone to be focused on portraits, but I was not sure how I was going to angle it. While looking through my old work, I found a portrait of an idea that I wanted to pursue and develop further. In this portrait here, I was trying to explore microexpressions, emotions that are not quite there yet. There was a feeling I got from drawing this portrait that I usually didn't experience, which is why I decided to explore microexpressions and the in between of emotion that people have. It can also be described as a fleeting moment. Process. I decided on video to capture these moments. It took a while to figure out how exactly I was going to capture the video. At first, I was going to capture people having moments in a public space, which I felt would be the most natural way of getting material. But after further consideration, I decided that it would be weird to videotape random people out in public. So a more controlled and consensual environment will eliminate any possibility for an unwanted altercation. I would have a single person sit in a chair placed in front of a camera. However, it created a new problem of posing for the camera, which is what a person does subconsciously when they know they're being watched, is an act of some sort. After a little trial and error on developing the instructions for who would be sitting in the chair doing the video, I decided to just have them think. It could be memories where they felt something or just thoughts in general. The willing participant would sit in the chair facing the camera for 8 to 10 minutes. And after watching a few of these videos, I realized that it was around 7 minutes where something magical would happen. It can't be described as forgetting the camera was in the room, but it was more like the camera became part of the room. Like it was no different than a TV, something they felt comfortable looking at, and their movements became more natural, which helped solve the problem of posing for the camera. This first video is an example of what I was working with while finding the images I needed for the portraits. And the second video is the video that is displayed with the piece that's in the gallery. From there, I picked an image or screenshot from the video where it successfully captured the moment I was looking for, the in between, but also a picture that'd be flattering to the person. It took me a couple of portraits, but I was able to get it right around the third time. There are many images to work with, and then I would remove them one by one until I got an image that I thought worked best. A lot of the images look like repeats. An example being the topmost two images to the left, but I sort of different. A single frame can make all the difference. After, I just went into Photoshop, did some digital painting, and called it a day. Each portrait took on average 12 hours to make, which is a rough estimate. And I feel as though that's a long time to spend with someone alone in silence. To figure out how to accurately portray the emotion that wasn't exactly finished, a lot of assumptions had to be made about the person, mainly what they were thinking. So while I'm sitting there for hours, I'm unintentionally building a relationship or a connection with this person, becoming more familiar with who I think they are. That's when I realized that in the series, I was trying to share that connection I had while creating portraits. I wanted people to feel the same thing, but for me to do that, I had to begin establishing a relationship between the viewer and the person in the portrait. Here's an example of what you experience in the gallery. At first, you're greeted by the portrait. Then you would scan a QR code and watch the video. and then you return to the portrait. The idea was to give a different experience than when you first saw it. Choices. Composition. There are a lot of different choices I had to make. Different eye directions, for example. Even if there was a stronger image or portrait that I could have used, I sacrificed it so I can have balance. Also, the print itself looks closer to a Polaroid. I could have trimmed the paper, but I thought the Polaroid look kind of summed up this project nicely, as it is literally a snapshot of a moment. Color. Color was simple. I just kind of pulled it from the background and then muted the tone. All of the pieces followed the third piece I made, which kind of set the standard for the series. The muted tones help the background become less distracting, allowing the viewer to focus more on the emotion being expressed. Size. The bigger the better. 22 by 24 inches helps the viewer see the image from afar, with detail encouraging them to get closer for further inspection. It was not supposed to be intimidating, but I also did not want the portraits to be looked down upon. They are still just portraits in the end. I think it's important to note that at first glance, these works are still just portraits. You can equate them to the hundreds of faces you pass by on any given week, which is why the portrait itself is not the finished piece, but the way it works in conjunction with the video. Watching someone experience a moment gives you another way to relate to them. Instead of strangers on the wall, they should become a reflection of one's own interaction with the world. Without connection, every face is just another face you pass by. Thank you. I'm Nathan Gollop, and this has been my flash talk on Around 7 Minutes.